What's up, guys? Welcome to Monchkinz Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Monchkinz logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another video guide for the global version of the game today. So we are going to take a look at Devourer of Light, which is the new LUFENIA fight. Before we do start, once again, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, guys, and I would really appreciate it. And I still want to know if you guys are interested in me releasing the actual run by itself without any commentary or any, type of editing with it. Because I know some people just prefer to watch the video. So let me know down in the comments below if you want me to release the runs by itself. Now, without further ado, let's start this video. Alright guys, so we'll start this off on how you're gonna deal with this LUFENIA orb. And of course, this starts at the start of the battle and will disappear once you hit below 80% and will reappear once you hit below 50%. So it will basically recover the LUFENIA orb counter when you use an ability that actually recovers their HP. So this increases by 7, which is not a lot. However, we do have a lot of options when it comes to abilities that heal. So Theodore, of course, is one of the ones recently. Penelo, Pestle, and of course Arciela are the ones that just recently have come out that can do this, and we have a lot more characters that can do this as well. So at this point, really, you can bring any healer and they can fulfill this role pretty much. Now, you do have to remember though, if it's just HP regen, it actually doesn't count. You really need some sort of healing with that particular ability. Alright guys, so let's move on to how the fight works and the things that you really need to pay attention to. The first off, Petri Breath. If you get broken while it uses this ability, you will be petrified, and that just means that that character cannot move for one turn. I would try to avoid it if you can. And as for its recast ability, it will revive the Maria mannequin, as well as this is going to be a guaranteed hit, so it's not avoidable. The boss does have a few resistances as well to thunder and magic, and will start healing later with thanks to a buff later down the track. So how are you going to deal with this? Well, basically, Brave Recovery or Refund will ultimately be very useful. This will make you avoid getting broken, so characters like Furion really helps here. And of course, there's a few more characters that can do this as long as you get a little bit of Brave Refund. Hopefully it's not strong enough to actually break you. Healer, of course, for the orb, and I would just say use splash damage to kill the mannequin if you can avoid focusing on it, because at the end of the day you are trying to focus down the boss, not the mannequin. As for the buffs that will make him recover, like I think nearly almost a million HP. I think it was 900k or something like that. I don't remember on top of my head. You do have to have some sort of debuffer to push off those buffs, or just remove the buffs altogether. Alright guys, let's talk about the characters you may want to bring for this one. Ultimately, it's kind of going to be the same team with a few tidbits here and there. Paladin Cecil, of course, is the new character. I highly recommend bringing Gladio or Guy. Guy sort of fulfills that role. She can heal the party and is a good tank as well. But Gladio, if you want to be more of an offensive tank, with a Brave Refund as well, he's really good still to this day. So a lot of characters basically are pretty much useful in this fight. And I do have to say, I know that the boss is resistance to thunder and magic based attacks, but if you can use Imperil, or magic imperil like Hope's magic imperil, and then add on top of that a elemental imperil, I think with the damage altogether you should be fine. but again, you know, it's one of those things where you have to rely on Imperial to do some damage, so it's ultimately going to be up to you. Now, as for the Cole characters, honestly, I would really just recommend bringing a lot of melee type attackers or range type attackers for this one that also apply debuffs, such as Caius, Machina, or something along those lines. However, there's still some very useful ones, especially like Hope, if you are planning to bring a magic based characters once again. But to be honest, if you're bringing Hope along, I think it's well worth bringing him to your team instead of just a Cole ability. But that's just me. At the end of the day, like I said, it's ultimately up to you, but you can still use Hope as a Cole character instead of your main team. It's just that, you know, with the Magic in Peril, it's like you may want to refresh that quite often. So, you know, I think he's much more, or he's much better off to be in your main team rather than just a Cole ability. But he can still do some pretty decent damage with the Cole ability, and at the end of the day, again, it's completely up to you. Alright guys, so now let's take a look at the party compositions, and of course the video that you are seeing right now consists of Paladin, Cecil, Theodore, and Gladio. The Cole team for this one, I have Jack and Onion Knight. Support Onion Knight as well, and Summon is going to be Diabolus. So this one is pretty straightforward. Gladio is there to defend the two, and of course Paladin, Cecil, and Theodore are here to fulfill the LUFENIA orb counter. Now for the next team I have for you is going to be Paladin, Cecil, Ruth, and Therion. Basically these three will fulfill the LUFENIA orb, so you don't have anything to worry about. The Cole team are Caius, Ramza, and Machina. Support Onion Knight, however, can be whoever you want. Really, I just like the idea of support Onion Knight because he gives you extra abilities basically. Again, the summon for this one doesn't have to be Shiva. You can have whoever you want. Actually, scratch that. You can have anything you want except for Ramu, unless you have some sort of lightning imperil, or sorry, thunder imperil. So if you're planning to bring like lightning or something like that, you know, that is still pretty viable, I should say. Like I said, you know, imperils still help you fulfill those roles, even though they have resistances. That's what's good about having some imperil characters. Next team I have for you guys is Therion, Balthier, and Guy. Again, Guy, you can probably switch out Gladio here. I think having a much more offensive tank helps, but if you have Guy, if you pulled for him like I did, like, you can probably use him here. Basically, a lot of the team composition just revolves having like two characters, having some sort of heal, and one character to do a lot of damage. Balthier is here because not only does he have very good auras that can help you deal a lot more damage, the other thing that he's very useful in is towards the end of the fight. Like I said earlier, the boss will have like multiple buffs. It will buff itself, and you can steal those buffs or remove those buffs, whichever you want to call it, and basically will remove its ability to HP regen, which is very, very nice. Caius is here for those debuffs if you don't really plan to bring Balthier or someone else, so you can push off all those buffs. It's not framed buffs, so you should be fine. Machina, Ramza, support Cecil, and of course summon Diabolus, and again, can be anything you want except for Ramu. Now for the last team, I have Paladin, Cecil, Arciela, and Rude. Once again, these three will fulfill the LUFENIA orb counter. Caius, Ramza, and Onion Knight for the Cole, and Onion Knight for the support, and Diabolus for the summon. This one's pretty straightforward. Arciela can HP silence, so you can avoid those what do you call it, recast ability. So, you know, it's gonna be a lot safer, I should say. So anyway, yeah. Okay guys, so we are finally towards the end of this video. My final thoughts about this fight is pretty straightforward. It's actually not that hard to fulfill the LUFENIA orbs. There's just a few things you really need to look out for, such as the Petri Breath and of course the recast ability. But other than that, there's really just a wide variety of characters to use on this particular LUFENIA fight, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah, I just can't find anything wrong with this LUFENIA fight because it's so straightforward what you have to do, and there are, like I said, an abundance of characters that fulfill this role. And yeah, that's my final thoughts. It's not that bad of a LUFENIA fight. I guess I'll end the video right here, so remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, guys, and I would really appreciate it. Leave down in the comments below your teams, and of course I also want to know, once again, I said this in the beginning of the video, but I know some people skip through that. I would really appreciate to find out your thoughts of if you guys want just the actual run itself. I can upload those videos without any sort of editing or anything like that for those people who just want to watch the actual run without it going too fast and, you know, change with any commentaries and such like that. So let me know down in the comments below. This is Monchkinz. Oh, one more thing, you can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Monchkinz Gaming. This is Monchkinz logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.